What's good? What's good? Hope you all are having a great Sunday. What's up, Matt? Hey, what's up, Takala? We'll take a look at, I believe you wanted me to take a look at a coin. I think it was, what's up, man? Good morning. Hope you're all having Theta, yeah. Hope you're all having a great Sunday. Yeah, we're still chopping around. We're still chopping around with XRP. But here's the small time frame wave count here on XRP. Now it looks like we're still consolidating here at the interim support levels. I mean, as long as we don't go below this 61.8% fib here at $2.58, then we should be good for one little drive to the upside towards this 70.2 to 78.6% fib sitting at around $2.90 to $3.05. Now, all I did to find this 702 and this 786 is I just simply took a fib from this all-time high, from the highest recorded price within this range down to this low, and we still haven't hit this 702, 786. And usually what I've noticed, especially with XRP, is that on Sundays, the 702 and the 786 gets tapped. So you may see a push to the upside here today at $2.90 to $3.05 before we see a retrace, maybe 50% of the way down, before having that fifth wave up here for your wave one in your leading diagonal. Now, the black count over here is the alternative count. So like I said in the previous live stream, this could be a straight impulsive move to the upside, right? Where this is your wave one, this is your wave two, and now we're starting our impulsive move to the upside like that, instead of it being a diagonal pattern. But we'll see how the levels play out. I mean, we're still in chop. We haven't fully broken out with XRP yet, but yeah, we're just chilling here at this interim support level. But ultimately, I would be expecting a move up to this 702, 786. Bulls don't want to see a move below $2.58. Otherwise, we would have to alter this wave count. But let's take a look at Theta, because I know one of the members, they were asking me for Theta in the Discord. Let me see. Yeah, sure. We'll take a look at that. Okay, so this is Theta right here. It's just chopping here at the lows. Let's go on a clean chart over here. Now, if the rest of the market goes down, there is a possibility in which Theta comes and sweeps these lows very slightly and then sees a nice pop up from there, just to take out all of these buy stops. Now, where would that be in regards to the Fibonacci support? That would just be us having consolidation here at the 786. So when we zoom up on the high time frame, like on the daily time frame, if we were to have a move down here to tap the 786 one more time and just slightly sweep these two lows, it would it wouldn't look like anything on the high time frame, but on the small time frame it would look like a big drop, right? So there is a possibility we get that. And but I would say like overall most of this downside move is already completed, considering we went down by over 64, almost 65%. So if we just come down a little bit more, just chop here at the 786 region, yeah, it would be about 66%. But let's check out these fibs over here. What we're going to do is take a fib from this low over here up to this high. And we'll take a look at all of these Fibonacci supports here on Theta. Okay, so going forward on Theta, if we lose, so let me remove all the fibs above the price so you guys can see where I'm pointing to. Okay, so you have these three fibs below. Okay, now if we lose $1.238, then it's very likely we'll just make a new low very slightly like that with a wick and then see the pop up from there. But on the high time frame, it would just look like it would just look like a blip on the radar, right? And it's almost like the same structure as Ethereum, right? We have this sideways accumulation, and this has been spanning for over almost a year now. Yeah. Yeah, almost 1 year of sideways accumulation within just this rectangular range. So this goes all the way back to March 2024. Okay. So yeah, I mean, chop around this region, it wouldn't surprise me. We may even see a wick down to this 886, depending on where the rest of the market is. And that would be sitting at $1.02. But I'm sure like if we did come down here, it would be a really nice, we would have a really nice pop up, right? Let's check this out on the 30-minute time frame here. Okay. Yeah. So we have these supports here. We're right now on the 50% fib here. Okay. So we may come down, just chop around here, but if you end up losing $1.23, 1.238, then it's likely going to have a little sweep down here and then see a nice pop up. It's a little bit hard to decipher where the pivot points are going to be, considering we're at the low. We had a huge liquidation event here, so chop around this region would be expected. Like if you guys are going to take longs in the market right now, I wouldn't recommend anything over 2x, simply because of just this sideways movement, right? Or you can use high leverage, but just remember to keep your stops tight. Okay, so these are the Fibonacci retracements for Theta. But yeah, I'd be expecting chop around this region. Okay, we can take a look at CRV as well. I know one of the members, they wanted to get into a CRV long. And with CRV, we have equal highs here. So this is called our equal high buy side liquidity. So there's liquidity, or in other words, sell stops located above these equal highs. So this would be considered our EQH PSL, right? And currently CRV is just on the 70.2% fib. So CRV may do this, come down to the 786 at 0.483 and then see a nice push up from there. But if you lose 0.48, then it's likely going to sweep this low right here at 0.45 and then see manipulation down here and then see the pop up. But ultimately, I would be expecting higher, considering that most of the move to the downside is already finished. When we take a look at how much we dropped from from this high over here, we dropped by almost 70%, right? So you're gonna have people longing this region, but you may see some chop around this region. Okay. Now, when we take a look at where CRV is relative to its November low, we've already hit the 78.6% fib. You see, we've hit the 786 already over here. And like I say in most of my streams, right, the 702, 786 is usually where you see a hard reversal in crypto. Now, when we pair that information to the fact that we had the largest liquidation event in history in the crypto markets, bigger than FTX, it wouldn't surprise me that the bottom is being set over here. We'll also add the 88.6% fib on the chart. Okay. So yeah, around this region, you want to give the trade some room, right? You want to give the trade some room because it can chop around here before it continues on higher. Now, what we see with CRV on the historical chart here, let me just try to find it. Yeah, so this is CRV. Nice WXY correction down. So would be expecting chop from the current price down to around 39 cent, with the possibility of us hitting like around here is where I'd be expecting chop. But ultimately, I would be expecting a move to the upside to take out these equal highs like I was showing you guys, which would be sitting at around 61 cent. But yeah, this is CRV on the daily time frame. ABC up back in 2020, ABC down from 2020 down to August 2024, and now we're starting our C, and now we're just finishing up this C wave. Okay, we've had 4 waves here. We can clearly see 4 waves. You can even consider this like a tap of previous resistance as support before we go higher for that 5th wave extension. Now, for CRV, you'd want to look to take profit at around $3, which would be the 78.6% fib, measured from the all-time high down to the bear market low on the log scale, and the 618 to 786 at 425 to 536 on the linear scale, measured from the all-time high down to the bear market low. And then anything above $5.36, that would just be extra. Like you can consider that just like a bonus, right? Because we've already swept these range lows right here, right? But we haven't swept the range highs yet. So yeah. Tia looking like Matic. Let me see. Hello, brother. Most wanted on Pulse Chain. Starknet, yeah. Let's take a look at Starknet. Okay, now this could, let me see here. Okay, this is not the same Starknet, but okay, let's take a look at this pair here. Now, there is a possibility that considering we swept this low here, let me see if there's more history here on Starknet. Okay. So yeah, we did sweep this low here. Like when it was airdropped, it had just one straight green line up. And we swept that with this guy right over here, right? So as long as price remains above 0.1996, then we should be good for a move to the upside. Back to at least this 200 day. We can also take a look at the 100-day moving average here. Yeah, so around the same area, around that 47-cent region, which would be about a little bit over a 2x. Now, when we zoom in here on this small time frame for Starknet, bulls don't want to see a move below this 78.6% fib. Okay, they don't want to see a move below 0.1981. If we go below 0.1981, then we're going to make a new low below 17 cent. Excuse me. But yeah, this could be an ABC correction here. Right? There is a possibility. A, B, and then your C wave with a very shallow C. Okay. So these are the fib support levels. Bulls don't want to see a move below 0.1981. Otherwise, we make a new low below 0.1771. So far, it is looking good. Okay, this could be your ABC correction. And if this is the bottom and we don't go below our invalidation level, then we should see a move back up to this 100-day moving average, sitting at around 43 cent. But yeah. I also noticed that the BNB chain, it's front running the crypto market. We can take a look at BNB Bitcoin pair. And yeah, this is BNB versus Bitcoin. And it's super strong here. It looks like it's going to make its way to the 200-day moving average. But we shouldn't go below this low. So yeah, we see the BNB chain front running. Cake is looking pretty good too here. This is Cake here on the 65-minute time frame. It came down to the 100 period EMA on the 65-minute time frame. You see this? So what I would want to see here going forward for Cake is a move above $3.09 to $3.17 to confirm that we're going to go above $3.39 towards our wave 5 of 3 target. sitting at 461 to 498. Now, remember, this is just an estimated trajectory. We will have to alter these waves as the price develops, but you mainly want to look to take major profit, not financial advice, at around the $10 to $12 region. The reason I say $10 to $12 is because that's the 618. You see, that's the 618 here from the all-time high down to the low. If we were to take a look at it on the linear scale, that would be the 23.6% fib. So yeah. Now I noticed on XRP we did sweep this high over here. We swept this high. So there is a possibility we see a little bit of a check back. But let's continue to monitor. It's still Sunday. Usually there's less liquidity running around in the market on the weekends, especially on Sundays. And that's why I said that we usually see the 702, 786 get hit. Because you have that low liquidity, it's easy to move the price up. What's up? What's up? Yeah, we'll take a look at most wanted for sure. Do you think we are going up next or down? We'll have to see because it's still Sunday, right? There's going to be a lot of chop. But during this chop, what we're going to see is we're going to see sentiment. We're going to see retail sentiment, market sentiment only get worse during the chop. But I do think that we have bottomed. We have bottomed in the altcoin market, but let's not rule out chop. And in that chop, a lot of people are going to think that it's over, right? Like I say in my previous videos, whenever people have too much time to think, especially at the lows, that's where they tend to make the most mistakes, right? They sell, they overthink, they worry. But usually during chop, especially after such a huge liquidation event, the best thing you can do is not to touch your spot portfolio at all and not to go on high leverage. That's the best thing you can do, right? The longer we stay at the lows, the worse retail sentiment gets. And during that bad sentiment, that negative sentiment, that's where people make the most mistakes because they have too much time to think, right? If the market is doing this, then they're all happy. But when the market does this, they don't react through this whole ABC because it happens very quick. But when the market does this, that's when they get scared and then they have time to think. And during this time, that's where people make the most mistakes. Now you may see liquidity sweeps at these lows, right? Just to chop out all of these traders, make people confused, both long and short, before the market turns to the upside very rapidly. We'll take a look at most wanted here. I know I took a look at it on the last stream and I said that it did look bullish. It's still at the range lows here. It's still at the range lows. So let's just continue to monitor this. Remember, this is a very high risk coin. Okay? Very high risk coin. But the way it's looking, I mean, it's still holding the 50% fib. If we lose the 50% fib at 6 cent, then it will probably come down to the 618 and then see a nice push up from there. Either way, I do think that the third wave of euphoria is yet to take place, considering we only had one wave up here, right? But yeah, this actually looks like Wyckoff accumulation here at the lows. So you may see chop within this region, right? Within this region, but ultimately I would be expecting that third wave to the upside. Now, wherever this, like, okay, if this is the bottom right here or right here, then to find the third wave targets, you just want to take a fib from this all-time high down to this low. If we end up making a new low, then you just move the fib down a little bit lower to get those targets. But most is looking pretty good. Most is looking good. Let's take a look at XRP here. It's probably doing a flat pattern, an A, a B, and then a C wave down. But remember, if you lose this 618 here on XRP at $2.58, $2.59, then it's likely we're going to go for that flush to the downside, like around here. Like like if we lose 259, then we'll probably do this, probably tap this 200, probably tap this 100-day moving average, and then see the pop up from there. You see how we swept this high? So there is a possibility we do that, but let's stick to our original wave count here, because it does have all of the invalidation levels. Okay. But yeah, I think XRP is going to perform really well. All the ISO coins have front run the market. Now, we haven't really had a bull run yet. I mean, the ISO coins have front run the market back in November, and they're still at their highs. So those coins went on a bull market, but all the other coins have either set new lows or have made a move back down to their range low. And I think we should have that expansion very soon. We should have that expansion. So I wouldn't consider the bull market has really taken off yet. That phase where they call the no sleep season, I don't think that's really happened yet. Now, the reason I'm so confident on the bottom being in is simply because we did come down to the 200-day moving average here on total 3. Okay, so if we put the 200-day moving average on our chart, with this huge long liquidation event, which was bigger than FTX, what did we do over here? We came down to the 200-day. Now, within this region, you're going to see chop. So high leverage would not be recommended. And we saw the same thing over here back in November. This was August, September, October, November. You see this chop over here in November before we just had a huge straight line to the upside? Right? Look at all of this chop just going sideways like this. Right? You know, you could have even made a bear case over here and say this is a rising wedge and it's going to come down like that, but all of a sudden we see that pop to the upside, right? So you always have, now there's many moving parts to a well-rounded analysis, and you need to take a look at all of those moving parts to form a well-rounded bias. And considering we had that liquidation event that was bigger than FTX, and we also came down to this 200-day moving average, it wouldn't surprise me that this is the bottom over here. And then within this region, we should see chop before we grind our way to the upside. Now, we would be looking at around the $1.65 to $1.8 trillion region for a potential top to come in on total 3. So I'm looking at around a $1 trillion injection, $1 trillion liquidity injection into the crypto markets. Now, that injection, it won't be done by retail. It'll be done by banks and institutions, or in other words, the composite operator, the hidden hand who controls the market, right? And then And then when prices are going up, that's when retail pour in, right? No one's touching crypto right now. No, like most retail traders I know, they're very scared. They think crypto is over. But I would say that the downside move, most of it is already completed here. Good morning, Mina. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, let's take a look at Rose. We'll take a look at AXL. I appreciate that so much. Litecoin. Yeah, crypto will be slow in the next like within 7 days from now. Crypto will be pretty slow. It'll just be chopping around. What's Trump coin saying? Let's take a look at Trump. It's probably come down to do some consolidation. We'll take a look at Trump and then we'll do AXL. We'll take a look at Flow and then Rose after. Okay, yeah. So Trump, it went up 66% from our bottom call over here. Now we may see some consolidation downwards. These are your Fibonacci support levels. We're currently on the 61.8% fib, and it could come down to these fibs over here. Okay. As soon as you lose $16.30, then it's likely it's just going to come back down to these lows here and then see them move to the upside. But so far, it looks like it's just coming down to the retracements to chop. This is the count on Trump. We may have to alter these waves as the price develops. Right? This could even be a wave 4. And then we come down to slightly sweep this low for a wave 5 and then see the push up from there. But so far, Trump is okay. It's just resting in between the 50 and 61.8% fib. Yeah. Let's take a look at AXL. I made a chart on AXL here. Just trying to find where I put it. Okay, yeah, so let's take a look here. I think I did it AXL. Okay. Okay, yeah, I did it here on the Coinbase pair. Okay, yeah, this is AXL. Looking really good so far on the weekly time frame. Really nice long-legged doji. And we did come down to these lows, to these range lows. We also have a little bit of bullish divergence here. We have a slight lower low on the price, but a slight higher low or equal low on the RSI right here. So this is Class C bullish divergence on the weekly time frame. And then if we take a look at the daily time frame, notice how it went into oversold territory here. So this is what I would be expecting for AXL. We may see a move to take out this equal high buy side liquidity with our draw on liquidity being $1.42. Okay. You may see a retrace from there and then a push up to make a new all-time high. Take profit target would be sitting at 221 up to $4.21. Now, this bottoming structure here on AXL is still forming. So be super careful with your entries if you're planning to take any futures trades. Here are your Fibonacci support levels, just in case we come down. Right here. Have a little bit of a rising wedge. So you may see a flush, and you may see chop around this region, but ultimately I would be expecting higher, considering we are oversold on the high time frame indicators. We'll take a look at the stock RSI as well for AXL. Okay, the daily is pretty high here, but let's take a look at the weekly. Yeah, you see this weekly stock? This weekly stock RSI? It's right at the lows here. So we'll see how the price develops. I mean, let's not rule out the possibility of a little flush. But I think if we do have a flush, I'm sure it'll just be chopped down to the retracements before we continue higher. Now, like I said, during this chop, we're gonna see retail sentiment become really bad. So we have all the things necessary for a bottom to take place, right? Retail sentiment is in the trash, largest liquidation event in history, total 3 move back down to the 200-day moving average, right? All of these things fit the criteria of a bottom to take place. Okay, let's go back to XRP here. Or we'll go to BNB. BNB is looking really good. Notice how BNB came down to this 200-day moving average, but it never, it had a weekly wick below it, but it never had a weekly close below it. You see that? It never had any weekly closes below the 200-day during this flash crash. Yeah, looking really good. Let's take a look at the MACD here on BNB. This 3-day is about to cross here on BNB. I think we take out these highs here on BNB at 791. This is BNB Bitcoin pair. We have bullish divergence here. See on the MACD, higher low on the MACD, lower low on the BNB Bitcoin pair. We also came down to the 786, 886. See that? And now that's usually what you see when you're about to see a really nice move to the upside. So you have your first leg like this, you come down and form a rounding top, come down towards the 786, 886, chop around here, and then we see the push up. And we see that same thing. Bottom, rounding top, move down to the 78886. Bullish divergence on the MACD, and it looks like we're going to come up to this 200-day. So yeah. Can XRP drop to 240? Nice. Yeah, Litecoin is going to do good. Litecoin is for sure going to do good. Let's take a look at Rose and Flow. I know Mina had requested this coin. This looks like a Wyckoff spring right here. Mainly I would want to see these lows hold here. Now remember, when you go sideways at the lows for this long, that it's usually signs of accumulation. This actually looks a lot like Cake in a way. We'll take a look at Cake. And yeah, same thing, right? Man, Cake is on a tear. The BNB chain it looks like it's front running the crypto market. First it was the ISO coins in November, and now it's the BNB chain. Now look at the similarities here between Rose and Cake. Now you can always look towards the coins that are front running to see where the rest of the market is about to head towards, especially if the market structure is very similar to one another. Like look over here. You had your push up, first wave of euphoria, second wave of euphoria, second wave, move back down, in A, B, C, up to the retracements, in A, B, C, up to the retracements, and then a slam back down to the range lows, And then we see here on Cake, the price shot up by over 200%. But we're missing that here on Rose. So Rose is likely to do something like that, where it has that expansion to the upside. Right? Now these are the fibs on the small time frame for Rose. We'll go on the 4-hour time frame here. We can take a fib from the low of this wick here up to this high, and just take a look at all of these fibs. Okay, these are your fibs. This is where you may see manipulation down to before continuing on higher. Now, what bulls wouldn't want to see is a move below the 786 here at 0.0374. If we do see a move below that level, I wouldn't say you should worry or panic, because that would just mean we would probably just sweep this low very slightly and then see the pop up from there. You know? The market is doing its best to shake out all of the over leverage, the froth, like all of the hype. They want to kill, the market maker wants to kill sentiment before they run it up to range highs. It'll be on an almost $1 trillion liquidity injection. Something like that, it doesn't come easy. Remember that. Now, during times like this, you don't want to make any rash decisions, or any decisions that may affect your spot portfolio, unless you get severe invalidation. But so far, we don't see that here on Total 3. Total 3 is still chopping within this region. We hit the 200-day moving average right here. This was your WXY correction. You have your W, X, and then your Y wave. Okay? Boom. Just like that. Now we'll take a look at flow. Now, flow is the same thing. We have equal high buy side liquidity. It looks like the price is headed towards there. Right over here. Yeah, flow looks good. Same thing as Cake, right? Same thing as rose and cake. Wyckoff accumulation at the lows. This is your spring, and we swept this low. This low was very important because this was the low that we went up by over 183% from, right? So you had a lot of market participants placing their buy stops over here. And we swept it with this guy over here, right back down to the range low that was set all the way back in 2023. So that's 2 years ago. Okay, so we may see chop within this region, but ultimately I would be expecting a nice move to the upside. And finally have that expansion out of the range. Okay. These are your TP levels for flow. And I'll show you guys here. Wyckoff accumulation. So whenever you guys get confused on what the market is doing, you have to ask yourself, is it trending up impulsively, or is it moving sideways, or is it trending down? So what do we see here with flow? It's just trending sideways. So what does that tell us? That tells us that we're just simply doing Wyckoff accumulation. Okay. You see how we slam back down to the lows here? You have your creek. Now this creek can manifest in many different ways. Either a broadening wedge, a WXY correction, an ABC correction, a falling wedge, right? It can manifest in many different ways. And then all of a sudden you have a slam back to the lows for your spring. And then look at this, look after your spring. So after 7, you see how you move back down to the lows again? That would be your test after your spring. This guy right here, people are more scared in the market at the ST more than they were over here. Because over here, they're thinking, oh my God, it's going to make a new low. But little do they know, it's just a test before we have what's called the jump across the creek, okay? So that's what we have right here. We're just chopping within this region. So if we chop within this region at the lows, that would just be considered your test or your ST, where people become super fearful. Sentiment is in the garbage. And then all of a sudden you have the jump across, right? Now, what I'm thinking for the altcoin market is that we're going to see the expansion happen very rapidly. And a lot of the coins are going to go, they're going to go up together. Almost like 2017, right? Like if we look at 2017, let me see here. I remember all of the coins went up very rapidly in unison. And I think that's what we're going to see, considering most coins, especially ERC20 tokens, look like this, where we just have sideways accumulation at the lows. And this is about almost 1,000 days of accumulation. So yeah. All spot this year. Good, man. Yeah, stay in spot. Leverage. Thanks, bro. I appreciate that. BNB meme coins in 2021 were better than Sol meme coins ever were. I know, right? I mean, I think there was this coin back in 2021 that it just kept going up. I forgot the name of it, but yeah, it made a lot of millionaires. Thank you, bro. I really appreciate that, Thomas. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, we can take a look at VRA, but yeah, I want to address this here. This guy says all spot this year, and that's something I like to hear because futures, I would say 97 to 98% of people who do futures Yeah, they may make good money, but they end up giving their gains back to the market sooner or later. Now, in order to avoid something like that, don't go over 2x leverage and make sure you have your stops in place. I hardly ever see anyone go 2x leverage. It's always above 2x. And like I was saying in the I mean, you can go for high leverage, but if you get some good sniper entries, but like I was saying in the last live, the even just the wicks in crypto are enough to liquidate your account if you go over 2x leverage. Like, look at this wick over here. That's a 12% wick, right? Or even this wick right here. Like, you can just measure the wicks and they average out to about 7 to 12%. This wick here was a 30% wick, right? You have to be super careful in crypto. And that's exactly why the exchanges always win, because people, their leverage is too high. Okay, you want to set your stops, and yeah, it's good to stay in spot, because with spot you can rest easy, right? But if you have the correct guidance, if you know where the pivots are going to come in, then I mean, yeah, you can do futures, just don't over risk. So we'll take a look at VRA now. I'm bullish on VRA. Right, exactly. Is XLM going to do good bull run? Yeah, it is going to do a good bull run. Very confident on XLM. Let's take a look at XLM here. So this is XLM. Let's go on the white chart here. You see XLM here? How much accumulation you have here? This is what's called Wyckoff reaccumulation. Okay, this whole entire range here was accumulation, and we've been accumulating for the same length as XRP has accumulated. So that's about almost 3,000 days of accumulation. Then we see the expansion, but we haven't broke these range highs yet. So we're gonna break the range highs soon. There's no doubt about it. And when we take a look at the Fibonacci retracements, when we take a fib from this low here at around the 9 cent region up to this high here in November 2024, we hit the 618. Okay, we already hit the 618 here. I would say worst case scenario, it comes down to the 702. Worst case scenario, and then sees the pop up from there. But if we do come down, don't panic, because you know that the range highs are eventually going to be taken out. So hold the position. Don't sell your position yet. I mean, if we do come down, then we come down, but that's okay, because you know we're going to take out these range highs. Okay, I would be expecting a move to 155 to $1.90, with the possibility of us having a little bit of an extension of the fifth wave to 221 up to 292. But as the price works its way up these fibs over here above the range high, you would want to look to ladder out. Okay, now there's three ways to find the potential peak here on XLM. We can take a regular fib from this high here in November 2024 down to this low, And look at all of the major fibs, okay? Then what you can also do is take a trend-based fib from this low up to the high and down to the counter trend. And then to find a third level of confluence, we can take a fib from the all-time high down to the bear market low. And that's this guy right here. You see these blue fibs? Okay, so we would mainly be targeting around that $1.80, $1.90 region for the fifth wave to come in. But yeah, I think that XLM is a great coin, just like XRP, but it hasn't completed its fifth wave yet. I mean, we're in the midst of it, but hasn't completed it yet. We need what's called we need the sweep of the range high. And then we would probably come down for an ABC correction for your bear market, right? And then we would go in for the next run from there. So yeah. Flow is looking good. Also, there is this other coin that I was looking at here. I did it 2 streams ago. It was Moonbeam. Moonbeam. Just trying to find where I put this coin. Oh, here it is. You see? This is your Wyckoff accumulation. Now, remember, as long as we don't go below this low here at 0.09718, and then we see a range reclaim, we see the bottom of the range get reclaimed as support at 15 cents, then we can for sure say that this is your spring. And now we're going to see expansion, right? To fill these inefficiencies higher up on the market structure. We have a lot of fair value gaps here. Okay. We got some gaps here that need to get filled. But yeah, even Moonbeam, nice Wyckoff spring. Okay. You can consider this like a bullish hammer or a bullish pin bar. Depends on how you want to look at it, but mainly we wouldn't want to, for Moonbeam, you wouldn't want to see a move below 0.097. Now, you know what's, let me see here. Let's take a look at the chat before I move on to the next. Flare looks like it's about to pump. Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. We'll take a look at Space ID, no problem. Yeah, we'll take a look at that. Theta technical analysis. I appreciate that, Ivan. Thank you so much, bro. Okay, yeah, we'll take a look. We'll take a look at Theta, and then we'll take a look at Flare. Okay, this is Theta. So the analysis on Theta hasn't changed from my last analysis. I think that most of the downside move is complete here, but like I was saying at the beginning of this live stream, you may see chop around this region. Okay, you may see chop around this region. Don't panic. Don't panic, because it'll, on the high time frame, it'll just look like a wick. Like it'll literally just be a blip on the radar if we were to come down here. And you know, that's where a lot of people, they go wrong in crypto. That's where a lot of people make mistakes, is that they're too focused on the small time frame. So when you have moves like this, it literally looks on the small time frame like death, and people become extremely despondent. But just remember to zoom out. Just always remember that. And so far, we've been making higher lows. we were within this right angle broadening wedge pattern, or ascending triangle, however you want to look at it. We've been within it for 610 days. We popped back above it, and now we're just using it as support. It's doing the same thing as Ethereum. You see this sideways accumulation? It's just, you can consider it like a pause in the market structure. That's all it is. Just a pause. Right? So we may see chop here from the current price down to 121. But ultimately, I would be expecting $24 or 19 to 27 to get hit. These are all of your take profit targets on Theta. And I was mentioning this in the live stream. Look at the legs that you have, right? You have your first leg. This was your bull market. This is your bear market. Bear markets usually happen after your first parabolic advance. But where is our third leg? Right? Where is that third leg? We still have to have that third leg up. So what I would be expecting here on Theta is a move up to these levels here. Now, all I did to find these levels is I just took a simple fib from this all-time high down to the bear market low on the linear scale. Then what we can also do is take a trend-based fib from the bottom of our trend to the top of our trend and down to the counter trend. This is our low of the counter trend. Right? And then you see what lines up, right? But yeah, this is Theta. I do expect a move to $19 to $24 with the possibility of us having a little bit of an overthrow towards the 2.618 extension sitting at 39. Now, you want to look to take profits all the way up because nothing in the market is guaranteed. And that you'd also be practicing good risk management. And never don't base your exit strategy based on how much money you have, right? How much your portfolio is worth. Always base your exit strategy solely off what the charts are saying. Because I know a lot of people in the last bull market and their goal was $1 million, right? But they came to around like 600, 700, 800K. But they're like, oh, I'm not at my goal yet. I'm not at my goal yet. And then the whole market topped. And then they ended up round tripping 800K. So never base your portfolio or never base your exit strategy off of how much money you have, but base it off of what the charts are saying. Now, you want to keep your eye on total 3. Keep your eye on total 3 because this is your roadmap, right? Keep your eye on total 3. Once we approach that 1.65, 1.8 trillion, you'd want to look to ladder out. But as we approach that level, as price develops, I'll update you guys so you guys can be in the know. But yeah, that's Theta. Super bullish on Theta. It's still making higher lows. We may see some chop at the lows, but ultimately I would be expecting a move to the upside. Do cake, bro. I love cake. Okay, well, we'll take a look at okay, let's see Space ID. We'll just take a quick look at Space ID. What's the ticker for this Space ID? Oh, this is it right here. This could be your AABC correction or your WXY correction. And we came down to the 886. This is your accumulation range. So what I would be looking here for space ID, what I would want to look for is for us to go no lower than 0.2158. And then I would want to look for a move above the 200-day moving average, which would be sitting at around the median of this reaccumulation range at 44 to 45 cents. Once we can fulfill these two things, then it wouldn't surprise me that we have a nice grind to the upside. We've been reaccumulating within this range for 653 days, so almost 2 years. So yeah, those are the two things I would want to look for space ID. Let's go on the hourly time frame here for space ID. This could be a leading diagonal, right? So you may see something like this, just chop at the lows before continuing higher, but just be careful futures trading. Remember, I want to see us go no lower than this level and for us to get back above this 200-day. Okay? Thank you, Juan. I appreciate that, bro. We'll definitely take a look at Zebek or Zebek network. We'll check this out. Sonic, Fetch. Yeah, we'll take a look at Fetch. I know I have some bullish analysis on Fetch. VRA is bullish. Let's take a look at Cake, and then we'll take a look at Flare. And then I'll work on the rest of the requests here. Cake is pumping. Let's go. Let's go to my. I have a layout specifically just for Cake. It's called Cakester. Let's take a look at Cake here. Let's see. Which one did I put it on? Right here. Yeah, so we broke above these highs. I want to see a move above $3.09 and 317 to confirm that we're going to come up for this fifth wave here at 461 to 498. Then as price reaches this region and breaks above the high, we'll see if a correction forms. We don't know for sure that the correction is going to look like this either, right? This is just an estimation. But I would be expecting a little bit of a correction, a wave 4 correction, before we have that fifth wave to the upside. Now, this fifth wave is likely to hit around $10 to $12. Okay, let's take a look at Cake over here on the 4-hour time frame. Look how well it's grinding up off of this 20 EMA. And you know what allowed me to see that we were on the Wyckoff spring of Cake? Like what gave me more confluence of that is this chart right here. I'll show you guys. When we take a look at the Cake Bitcoin chart right here, this is a bullish descending channel, and this is a completely different chart than the Cake on the USD pair. A completely different chart. We've been within this descending channel for 1,370 days. And look what we also did. We swept this low, the same low that we went up by over 5,500% against Bitcoin. And look what we did here in 2025. We swept it. Now it's back above the 200-day moving average. All I want to see here going forward is a move above this level. And then we can confirm that we're off to the races here on Cake. Cake is looking good. Cake, like I said, the BNB chain is front running right now. Let's take a look at Flare. Yeah, Flare's looking good. Lots of buy pressure around this region, holding above the 200-day moving average very well. This is the 200-day moving average right here. So like I said, we're going to see chop around here before we move up to 7 cent. The reason I say 7 cent is because when we take a trend-based fib from the bottom of our trend to the top of our trend and down to the counter trend, we do see that the 786 is right here. We'll probably see some consolidation, right? So this would be your third wave, this would be your fourth, and then it's likely we'll have a fifth wave extension towards 18 to 30 cent. So you see these circles over here? This is where you want to ladder out. From 11 to 12 cent, 18 to 19 cent, and then 25 cent to 30 cent. And we're using many different forms of confluence in regards to the fibs, right? What we can do is take a fib from this high over here in March 2024 down to this low in November. We see the 4.236 is at 29%, or sorry, 29 cent. And then we can also take, let me see the way I place this here. Yeah, so, and then we can also use a trend-based fib here. We see that the 1.236, 1.382 extension is at 19 to 27 cent. And I believe that's where this fifth wave extension topped out as well, right? Looking at Flare over here, this looked like your wave 1, wave 2, your third, fourth, and then your fifth wave, right? This was your 5 waves up with an extension of the fifth wave. When we take a trend-based fib to this to find the fifth wave target, look where we top out at, 1.382, 1.236. And that's common. That's common in crypto to have that fifth wave extension to those levels. Then what we can also do is take a fib from this high in August 2022 before we had that huge capitulation event going down by over 98, almost 99%. So if we take a fib from this high down to this low, look where the 786 is. Right there at 26, 27 cents. So we have a lot of confluence around this level. And then when we take a look at the weekly time frame, that would also be your breaker block or your mitigation block. You see? This region over here was our support before we had that capitulation event down. So I'd be expecting it to act as resistance, right? And that sits at around 27, 30 cent. Now it's very crucial to take profits on your flare as price approaches these levels. Because the last thing you want to do is sit through another downtrend. That's the last thing you want to do. Such a volatile coin, it's a very manipulated market. When you have a market this small, in comparison to legacy markets, there's going to be a lot of manipulation. There's going to be a lot of bad actors, or you could even call them the composite operator. Now, our goal as analysts is to try to see the game they're playing, try to see where these pivots are going to come in. So yeah, 11, 19, and then 27 to 30. This is Flare, looking pretty good. It looks really nice here on the weekly. We have just dojis forming over here. We'll take a look here. Okay. And don't be scared. Don't be worried if we come down to the 786 here. We may wick down to the 786 at 0.01754. We may see a wick down there. If we do see a wick down there, don't panic, because I think it'll just be a liquidation wick before we move to the upside. Just like this move over here in November. This was your established range, right? Let me try to find it. Right here. This was your established range. This is where all of the retail were accumulating. The composite operator drives the price down below the established range. And then this right here is where all of the people in here sell. So all of the retail accumulate here. They sell over here. Excess supply enters into the market, and the hidden hand scoops all that excess supply off of the market, causing the price to rally hard. You see what I'm saying? So this is a classic power of three setup. You have your accumulation, manipulation, and then expansion or distribution. And we actually, if we come down here to the 786, all we would be doing is just coming down to tap this accumulation range, right? So don't be alarmed if we do come down there. In layman's terms, just be expecting chop before we head higher. Bullish invalidation is to see a move below the 786, a weekly close below the 786. We don't want to see a move below this level on the weekly. You may see a wick below it, but I'm talking about a weekly close. If you got a weekly close, that's bad. Bad news. So far, it's looking good. PulseX, please. Okay, we'll take a look at PulseX, and then we'll take a look at Cardano. Let's take a look at PulseX. Okay, so now in the last stream, I did say we would come down to these retracements. Now, with PulseX, if we lose this 786 here, if we lose this guy right here at 403,113, then it's likely that our E wave is not finished, and we're going to come down here. But no need to panic if that happens, because this would likely just be your A wave, your B wave, and then you have your E wave or your C wave like that, right? Remember, we have an ABC within each of the waves for PulseX, going all the way back to May 2023. ABC down in your A, ABC up in your B, another ABC down in your C, ABC up for your D, We had your A wave here with the Richard Hart FUD. This may be your B wave. And if we end up losing the 786 at 403113, then that means we're just finishing up the C wave. And then from there we see the nice blast off to the upside. Okay? Now don't make any rash decisions or impulsive decisions based off this small time frame analysis, because when you take a look at the grand scheme of things, we could see look how squeezed this structure is. It's super squeezed. The last thing you want to do is try to be smart and trade in and out of it when price is so squeezed over here. So although it may come down to the 786 at 402056, although it may come down here, I would consider this your no trade zone. You don't want to trade in and out here because we're so squeezed, right? Because we're finishing up this pennant. So it's going to do a lot of chopping and grinding within this region. A lot of people are going to be crying, but we'll be in the know. We'll be in the know here. Because this is we're just simply finishing up this B wave. And we're so close to the pivot point, right? Here are all your targets for PulseX. I personally think that we top out at 0.039, so I think 0.4 of a penny. I think we peak at, like a peak comes in here. But you want to look to take profit all the way up, right? Now what we can do to find the targets is you take a fib from this high, from the highest recorded price within the range, down to the lowest recorded price. Take a look at all of the major fibs, and you'd want to take profit here, the 2.618, 3.618, and 4.236 extension. Then what you can do to find a little bit more aggressive targets is place another fib in the same way. The all-time high down to the low, but instead of taking a look at it on the linear scale, you want to take a look at it on the log scale. And you'd want to look at the 1.618 and above. In that case, we have these targets here that you'd want to ladder out at. But so far, PulseX is looking good. The structure is still healthy. I mean, if we do go below this level, don't panic. Because we're just finishing up the C wave of our E wave within our larger B. Okay? And also, what you can also do is take a look at your volume footprint here. Okay, so the thing with Dex Screener is that when you use the volume footprint, it doesn't show the value area low. So it, like, just by looking at this, it looks like the value area low is sitting around this region here, which would also line up with our fibs here. So we may come down here and then see the blast off, but either way, this is a no trade zone. Don't trade in and out. Wouldn't recommend it because we're so close to that pivot, right? But yeah, that's PulseX. Now, welcome aboard, bro. Nice to have you. Hey Pip, what is your riskiest play this cycle? I would say the riskiest play is PulseX. Because, like the Richard Hart coins, a lot of people have that as lottery coins, right? They have their main coins for their portfolio, and then they have the Richard Hart coins for the lottery plays. Now, I know a lot of people who are fully in those coins. Like their whole portfolio consists of RH coins, and that's okay. But without that, like if you want good returns, then you have to risk more. But the keyword is risk, right? There's a lot of risk in those coins. But yeah, riskiest play, I would say PulseX. I really like PulseX. I'm big into it. Cardano. Yeah, we'll take a look at Cardano for sure. So this is ADA. This is what I have here on ADA so far. You see how we came down to the 200-day moving average? We can also take a fib from this low here in October, November, up to this high and see where it came down to. And look where it came down to. It came down to the 786. So yeah, you may see some chop over here, but just know that's chop before we move on higher. When we take a look here on the weekly time frame on ADA, it just looks like a leading diagonal pattern. Wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have to have our fifth wave. Where is this fifth wave? It hasn't occurred yet, right? I wonder if I made a chart here on ADA. I think I did. I don't know if I deleted it or not, but okay, yeah, this is the chart right here. Maybe it's on the black chart I did it on. Yeah, okay. Right there. Yeah, this is ADA. Now what we can do to find the targets is you take a fib from this high down to this low, and we would want to look at the next immediate target after the last all-time high. And it looks like it's at around that 546 region. Okay? Yeah, around the $5 region you'd want to look to ladder out at, not financial advice. Okay? So this is ADA. It's doing good. It's looking good. Again, you may see chop around this region. Don't panic if we do come down here. Bullish invalidation would be to see a move back below this low at 51 cents. Okay. Now, if we take a look at this on the weekly time frame, you see how you have this inside bar over here? This reminds me a lot like Kaspa. Now, I know a lot of well-revered analysts that say Kaspa is dead. And Kaspa is already topped out. But I would disagree. Because when we take a look at Kaspa, let me just try to see where I put the chart at though. Okay, yeah, this is Kaspa. So now look at the weekly time frame on Kaspa, right? You have this inside bar. And we sweep this range low. So we sweep a very important low, and then we have an inside bar on the weekly. So I would want to look to see how this plays out. What bulls don't want to see going forward on Kaspa is a move below 0.0766. Otherwise, our bullish bias would be invalidated. But yeah, this is Kaspa. A lot of people are saying, okay, yeah, this is distribution. There's no doubt that this is distribution on Kaspa. But I don't see a scenario in which Kaspa doesn't move at all or it goes down while the rest of the altcoins go up. I don't see a scenario in which that occurs. So what I would be thinking is we have what's called upthrust after distribution, right? This is called UTAD or yeah, UTAD. So I'll show you guys what that is. You see how we have one more push up to the highs here? Just like that. A really explosive move up for your UTAD. You see, very explosive move up. Everyone is shorting it. Now, there's two schematics here. Okay, yeah, right here. I believe it is, yeah. Trying to find it for you guys here. Okay, right here. So this is what's called minor sign of weakness. You see how we sweep the lows here? And then we have upthrust after distribution. Now, a lot of people within this range are shorting the heck out of Kaspa, right? They think that it's gonna, just fall and die off from here. But I think we're gonna have this upthrust after distribution. Target would be sitting at 23 to 33 cent. And it does have the possibility of going to the 2.618. These are all the Fibonacci resistance levels. Okay. I don't think it goes above 41 cent though, because when we take a look at the macro wave count on Kaspa, we already had such a huge run to the upside. This is your wave 1, your shallow wave 2, and whenever you have a shallow and simple wave 2, you're going to have a long and complex wave 4. But the reason I was bringing up Kaspa is because we have an inside bar here on the weekly similar to that of Cardano, right? Inside bar on the weekly. So we'll see how this plays out. It's still chopping around. Don't forget it's Sunday, so there's less liquidity. Now a lot of people they panic on Sundays because you get such volatile moves, but never panic. Just remember that it's the weekend. You're going to see these types of moves occur in the market. Let's go back to XRP and then I'll pop up the chat. Let's see if XRP can hold. If it can't hold, then we'll have to alter this wave count. Yeah, I can cover XCN, bro. No worries. What's up? What's up? How are you? Okay, let's take a look at XCN. I haven't taken a look at it, so we'll check it out. Looks a lot like XLM. Let's take a look at XLM. Man, Cake is just ripping. Okay, let's take a look at XLM. But yeah, same thing. Pretty much. Looking at this 12-hour MACD, the 12-hour MACD on XCN, it's below the zero line. The histogram is turning upwards. Okay. And it looks like we're about to have a cross. Now, that doesn't mean put all your life savings in XCN or leverage long at 100x. All it means is that we may see we may see a pivot. These are all of your interim supports right here. Okay. This is XCN. Okay. Okay, so we hit the 702. I would be expecting a move up to the 786. Now, it's likely XCN is going to pop up when the rest of the ISO coins pop up. So when the rest of the ISO coins start moving, I'm sure that's when XCN will also see a pop up. And I would be expecting a move to the 78.6% fib at 0.056. And you'd want to look to take profits if we get up here, not financial advice. It may go above it for sure, but at least take some partials here just in case, right? We have a nice falling wedge. We'll see how this holds. And 12-hour MACD is turning up. It's probably your wave 1, your wave 2, your 3rd, 4th, and then we'll probably come up for a 5th here. Or it'll probably be extended. We'll see. So we'll see how this plays out. Right now it's still chopping around here. It's within a falling wedge-like structure. In the short term, bulls don't want to see a move back below 0.0196. But look at these wicks over here on XCN. Just this wick alone was 9.8%. Just this wick over here was 13%. Right? Very volatile coin. This wick over here was 40%. So this coin, it's going to play with your emotions for sure. There's no doubt about that. But just let it do its thing. It's just chopping around here. It already hit the 702. So I would be expecting a move to the 786 at least at 0.056. From current prices, that would be about 149%. Now it may go higher, but that's something we'll have to figure out when the time comes. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. Yeah, bro, we'll take a look at QNT. You know what? I actually noticed that we take a look at QNT. Only listen to Pip and Lifer. Who's Lifer? Is that BC Backer, you mean? Okay, QNT, yeah. We take a look at QNT on every stream. Now, what I've noticed with QNT is that it likes to move on its own. I actually traded QNT a lot back in the last bull market, I made some good money off QNT. So let's take a look at QNT here. Nothing significant has changed. Looks like it's doing pretty good. Let's go on the small time frame first, and then we'll work our way up. So what I'm thinking here on QNT is that this is your wave 1, right? Now, I know I'm comparing a lot of coins to Cake, but the only reason I'm doing that is because Cake is front running. So I just want to show you guys Cake for a second. I want to show you the small time frame on Cake, and we'll compare it to QNT. Wow, it's flying right now. But yeah, okay, let's take a look at Cake, and I'm going to show you the small time frame. We'll go on the hourly. We'll go even on the smaller time frame, 30-minute. You see how we came from the lows in a impulsive fashion. So on Cake, so this is Cake right here. Let me write it out so you guys know this is Cake. Okay, we came from the lows in a very impulsive fashion, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's your wave 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's your wave 1. Then we have sideways accumulation. This is your sideways accumulation. And this is your sideways accumulation on QNT, right? And then now we're making higher lows and higher highs. But it's going to grind its way to the upside. Look what Cake did after this sideways accumulation finished, this wave 2. It had a huge pop to the upside, huge pop, and it's continuing to go up. But so it looks like QNT is going to do the same thing. We're currently above this structural, we're currently using this structural resistance as support. So that's good so far, right? We're off to a really good start. When we go on the daily time frame, it is looking good. Just printing a couple dojis here on the daily, had a nice ABC correction down to the 200-day moving average. Whenever you have a huge run to the upside, take a look at your 100 and 200-day moving average. If the price comes down in a corrective formation back down to the 200-day, and then you see the price get bought up, that's likely your bottom. You tend to see that in the crypto market when you have runs to the upside. You have a flush all the way back down to the 100 or 200 day. A move back down to the 200 day on any asset will scare the living hell out of any retail investor. Now, what do we see here on QNT? We see pure Wyckoff reaccumulation. We have your ABC correction down from 2021. Boom. This is your ABC. Then you have your sweep of range highs. You creak downwards. You chop within this region. And then you have your sweep of range lows. After your sweep of range lows, we have a rapid rise to the top of the range. This is where all of the retail go long. Everyone puts their life savings into QNT over here because they think it's going to continue upwards. And that's the psychology of the markets. People get bullish at resistance and people get bearish at support. So after sweeping the range highs and the range lows, all we were doing here is just having a check back to clear up all of that excitement and flush the market of all of this over leverage before we can have a healthy move to the upside. I actually drew a little bit of a schematic over here. I'm just trying to find where I put it. We'll go on the weekly here. Right here. So I drew it over here. Right? this is where QNT is right now. You see this guy? Not only did we have a check back down to this range, but we also tapped the 200-day moving average. Something that's very noteworthy. Okay. Sweep of range highs, chop in the range, sweep of range lows, move back up to range highs, or you have your max euphoria event, or you can consider it like max excitement. Then we have a check back before we can have healthy continuation to the upside. Now, this chart is solely looking at price, but not time. We would be taking a look at 658 at the 1.618, 1000 at the 2.618, and then 1420 to 1655 at the 3.618 and 4.236 extension. Okay, so QNT, it likes to move on its own. It's a high market cap coin. If you're in QNT, I wouldn't be worried at all. Market structure still looks healthy. Okay, and we have yet to have this, and we have yet to have expansion out of this range that we've been in for almost 1,000 days. So yeah, QNT looks good. But don't worry if we see chop within this region. Like I say with all the coins, don't worry if we see chop in here. Zoom out on the weekly. Right? If you're someone who suffers from high anxiety or you have high stress levels, the last thing you want to do is take a look at anything below the daily. The daily, the 3-day, or the weekly. Just stick to those time frames and you'll be okay. And always take a look at your moving averages. We're currently above the 200-day. We're off to a good start. Cake is ripping more. Jeez. Okay, I just want to take a look at Cake here because it's really okay, I like that. I really like how it held support off this 100-day moving average here. This is the 100-day moving average. You see how we tapped it here? And now we're continuing our way up. Let's go back to my Cake wave count chart. Yep, so it looks like we are approaching $3.09 to $3.17. What I would want to see there is a 4-hour close above those two levels. Once you get a 4-hour close above those two levels, then it's extremely likely that will go above 338. Right? And you can, this is a wave 3 right here, and I do show it. I do show an ABC correction coming after that. But the best advice I could give, if you're holding Cake, is not to sell it here. If you're a trader, that's fine. You could sell it, whatever. But if you're holding Cake as an investment, don't try to trade these subwaves. It usually won't work out in your favor. Hold till the macro target. The macro target on Cake is 11 to 12 bucks. Okay. This is Cake here on the weekly. You see the 236, the 0.236 is at 11. And then we can also take a fib in the same way, but take a look at it on the log scale, and we'll take a look at the 618 or the 618 right there, 10 to 11. And then if we want even more confluence, what we can do is take a fib from the high of the range down to the low of the range, take a look at it on the linear scale, and where's your 2.618? Right there at 11. Now, when we take a look at the market cap chart on Cake, let's take a look at the market cap chart. Look where the 786 is. The 786 on the market cap chart of Cake is around, let me see here, 3.6 billion right here. 3.6 billion is $12. So yeah, Cake is looking good. Cake is looking real good. Most are now saying the top is I appreciate that super chat. Thank you so much. We may see a local top around March, April. Okay, we may see a local top around March, April. Then I would be expecting consolidation before we move up towards September, October 2025 for the peak to come in. Now we'll take it level for level and see how everything plays out. You guys will be in the know for sure. You'll be more in the know if you join the Discord, because you get regular updates there. Link in the description below. But yeah, I'm looking for a local top around March, April. Then maybe we see consolidation there, and then one more push up into September, October. And that's so far what the time cycles show on most of the charts I analyze, as well as the DXY. We need to take a look at the DXY. We can't ignore that, right? What happens after 11? So it'll probably go to 11, 12, like 10 to 12 bucks. We'll see a retrace. We'll see a retrace to tap these highs probably. Now there's no guarantee we'll see the retrace, right? Like let's go here one sec. So we may go to 11, right? Like this. And then come down to top. And this would be like, yeah, like March, April, right? It would come down to tap this as support. And then you have continuation up until September, October. Now, this is just an estimate. This is not a guarantee. The reason I'm saying we'll probably see a local top around here is simply because of Wyckoff accumulation. This is your spring. After your spring, you have your test, your last point of support, which is what we're probably seeing and right now, and then you have what's called your SOS. Your SOS is your sign of strength before you come back to the top of the range for what's called your BU/LPS, which is your backup/last point of support. And then you enter into what's called phase E, which would be your continuation after your BU. Okay? I can show you it over here. Let me just try to find it. Yeah, right here. You see, after you can't really see it because it's blurry, but this is your SOS above the range. Come down to tap it as your BU before continuation. We can see the same schematic on Link. I'll show you an example of what a backup phase looks like on Link. This is your accumulation. This is your Wyckoff accumulation. Right over here, back in 2023. This is your spring. This is your test. This is your last point of support. This is your SOS. Then what did we have? We had a backup to tap the top of this range. This is your BU. And now we're having continuation, right? So this is what I would be expecting on Cake. Now, there's no guarantee that we'll have this backup phase. There's no guarantee we'll have that, but that's why you never sell all. Always keep some coins aside just in case it goes higher. So you're not missing out either way with whatever scenario that plays out, right? ICP, please. Yeah, sure. We'll take a look at ICP. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. 1970. Seems that 2026 would mark a bottom for the next run up. Possibly. We'll see that. Yeah, I think Cake does hit 19. Yeah, I do think that. I'm sure it'll happen after the backup phase though. Like we have our SOS around 10 to 12. We have our backup phase, and then the next leg would be to 19. Yeah, we could take a look at Solana, but we'll first take a look at ICP here. Okay, so ICP. I wonder if I did a chart here on ICP. ICP still looks good. Let me put this on the white chart. I think I made it on the white chart. It's very messy, so let me delete everything here. This was your Wyckoff accumulation at the lows. You see this? This was our Wyckoff at the lows. This Wyckoff accumulation at the lows lasted for 490 days. Now, time versus price really matters. Always remember that. Time versus price is very significant. Now, something to spot Wyckoff accumulation is you have 3 floors, right? This is your first floor, this is your second floor, and this is your third floor right here. This was your spring. Then we had your SOS, your sign of strength, and this is your backup, your WXY correction. Okay, now let's see where this backup phase came to relative to our October 2023 low. And look where we came down to. Right to the 786. Okay. So I want to see these lows hold here on ICP. I want to see the lows hold. Or I want to see these range highs hold before we have continuation up. What we can do is take a fib from the all-time high down to the low on the logarithmic scale and just see where a pivot can come in. You see how we perfectly hit the 38.2% fib, or we came just shy of it. Okay, so let's remove the 38.2. We want to look at all the fibs above where we hit. So yeah, I would be expecting 39 next. Okay, so we may see chop around this region. So be extremely careful taking any leverage trades. We can also take a look at this on the logarithmic scale. We hit the 618. Let's see where the 702 is. Okay, yeah, so around this region. If it comes down here, don't panic. If it comes down here. Because remember, you have these wicks in crypto. And the price action doesn't make sense on the small time frame when you're in the midst of that wick occurring. But so far, I would be expecting this region to be a bottom before we move up to $39. It does have the possibility of going to 73, but you'd want to look to take profit here at $39. Let's see where that is when we use our trend-based fib. And yeah, that would be the 100% extension. So if we have a, so if we were to just take the length of this wave and copy and paste it, it would be at 42. So around 39 to 42 is where you'd want to look to take major profits. You'd want to look to take profits all the way up, actually, just so you can manage risk a little bit better. $23, $28, $34, and $42. And then just save a little bit of ICP left, like just save some ICP just in case we hit the 618. So this may be your third wave, come down for a fourth, and then you have a fifth. This is strictly looking at the price, not the time. Okay? So yeah, that's what I see on ICP. Bullish invalidation would be a move below the 70.2% fib on the log scale. This would be considered your inval. Yeah, I know, we're super early. We're super early for sure. Solana, yeah, we'll take a look at Solana. Can you do levels on KDA? Yeah, let's take a look at KDA. Okay, yeah, KDA, same structure as what most of the altcoins are doing, especially Cake. It went down by a little bit shy of 80%. Whenever you have an 80% dip like that, there's usually not much more downside to go. Now, this is the 4-hour time frame on KDA. We could take a fib from this low over here up to this high at 62 cents, and we'll take a look at all these fibs on the linear scale. Okay. I've been tracking these higher lows on KDA. I've been tracking this. So what I'm thinking for KDA is that these higher lows get maintained, and we see a grind to the upside, a grind like that, or we flush down like this and then we pop up, because this would also be acting as our trendline liquidity. Now look, trendline liquidity, it doesn't always have to be taken. It can have a grind up instead, like this. Or it does this and then flushes and then continues on higher. Now, if we were to have this flush, that would mean the rest of the market flushes as well. But yeah, this is KDA. These are the two trajectories on KDA. We either see a grind to the upside, and this is your wave 1, and this is your wave 2. Or this is your A, B, C, and then we see a nice pop to the upside. Okay? If you were to ask me what my bias would be on KDA, I think that we're going to have the grind to the upside. But let's not rule out the possibility of that flush. Okay? This is your spring, and this could be your test. Or a move like this would be your test before we continue on higher. But KDA looks good. This is the daily time frame, or we'll go on the 3-day time frame on KDA. We've been in accumulation for almost 1,000 days, and it is holding this higher low structure going all the way back to 2021. We have equal high buy side liquidity resting at $1.96. So like I said, whenever you have equal highs, you have liquidity resting above those equal highs. Those are all of the traders who are placing their sell stops above it. So price is likely to be gravitated back above this $1.97 region. And then when we're taking a look at take profit levels, you'd want to take a fib from the all-time high down to the highest recorded price in the range down to the low. And the 3.618 and 4.236 extension would be sitting at 638 to 740. And then we can also take a fib from the all-time high down to the low on the linear scale. And the 23.6% fib is around that same area, right? Then you'd want to look to take profit at the 38.2 and 50% fib. And then eventually this guy over here will be your big take profit level at the 786 at 21. So you want to look to take profits all the way up here as it expands out of the range. So as it expands above $1.96, you'd want to be very cautious. You'd want to look to ladder out. Because there's no guarantee that it'll just continue on higher. It may just, hit your TP1, hit your TP2, see some sort of retrace, and then continue on higher. But regardless of whatever scenario it does, you'd want to look to take profit at these levels. Okay. This is 3 years of KDA just going sideways. Same thing as Cake. Same thing as all of the other coins that are not ISO. Remember, ISO coins, they did this structure. They did this structure from 2020 to 2024 of November. But the ISO coins already had expansion out of their range. The non-ISO coins never had expansion. And I think we just completed the spring on mostly all coins. So what I would be expecting is a grind to the upside on the high time frame. So yeah, a move up like that, it wouldn't surprise me. And then on the small time frame here, your fib supports. We either see the grind up to take out this high, or we come down like that and then see the pop up. Bullish invalidation would be for us to see a weekly close below this 786 at 0.45871. Don't want to see a move below this 786 here in order for our bullish bias to hold true. You don't want to see a weekly close below this level. Even a daily close, but a weekly close would be below that level would be more concerning. Algorand, I'm not ignoring Algorand. I've just covered it so many times in the previous streams. But yeah, we'll take a look at Algo, no problem. Like I said in all the previous streams, Algorand is extremely clear to me. Algorand is just doing the backup phase. It already had its SOS. It had its backup. And now we're going to enter into phase E now for our continuation. Right? I'll show you the schematic here one more time. So this is your ST in phase B. This guy right here. This would be this guy right here. Okay? Then you have a move up to the range highs, which would be your false break. This is your false break. and then you see a correction down to a little bit lower, to a little bit below the median of the range. And in this case, we went down to the 886, but we never made a new low. Okay, so this would be your LPS. This is your LPS. Then we have a rapid rise above the top of the range. This is your rapid rise above the top of your range for your SOS. Then we have to come down to the top of the range for your backup. And we did that right here. Came down to the 200-day moving average. Same with most of the coins, came down to the 200-day. Okay. Now don't be surprised if we see chop within this region. You may even see a little bit of a newer low, like just a slight lower low over here. But then I'm sure it would be bought up very quickly. Okay. But within this region, I would consider it as your no panic zone. So we'll call this your no panic zone. Just so you guys don't panic during all this chop here. Okay. And then we're going to see continuation up likely to around the 702.786, which would be at $1 to $1.37, found by taking a fib from the all-time high down to the bear market low on the logarithmic scale. What we can also do is take a fib from this high here in December down to what we think is our low. And we see the 1.618, 2.618 is around that same region. So like I say in the previous stream, you'd want to ladder out at 97 cents up to $1.45. You want to take profits there, but you don't want to sell it all just in case we go ahead and sweep the all-time high at $3 and above. But yeah, algo is very clear to me. Now remember, there's a lot of chop in crypto, and there's a lot of wicks. So while you guys are on the small time frame and you see that the price is going down, just remind yourself that the price can manifest into a wick on the high time frame. Okay, always remember that. So on the small time frame, like on the 4-hour or the 3-hour or lower, the price is going to go down. And you see it going down and you're panicking. But then if you take a look at like the daily or the weekly, it may just be a wick and get bought up. So on the small time frame, anxiety and stress is higher. So remember, stay on the high time frame if you're a beginner and if you suffer from stress. But I would consider this your no panic zone, because within this region is where we will see chop before we can see continuation higher into your phase E, because we've already had the backup phase. Same thing with Link. What happened after the backup phase? You had your SOS, then you came down to the top of the range for your backup. What did we do over here? What did we do over here for 92 days? We just chopped around. I'm not saying algo is going to chop around for 92 days, but I'm showing you guys how much people were overthinking here, including me. I was overthinking this. But you're going to see chop after your backup before you slowly and then suddenly grind up for your move into your phase E. But yeah, algo looks good. Pretty good. So we are going to end the stream after I take a look at Solana and XRP. Okay, we'll take a look at VRA in the Discord. I may do it in. I'll remind myself to do it in the next stream. Yeah, I covered most, Sean. I did it around the beginning of the stream, but most is looking good. It's just chopping at the lows. It's at the 50% fib, and it could come down to the 618. If it does, don't panic, because we've only had our first wave of euphoria. We need our third wave up. Okay. Solana is good, guys. I mean, yeah, Solana, like, it had its run. Solana had its run, but there's still a little bit more upside to be seen. Let's go on the black chart over here. We'll take a quick peek at Solana. We'll move to XRP, and we'll look at Bitcoin dominance to finish up the live. Okay, so this is Solana, and what it's doing is just Wyckoff reaccumulation. Yeah, this is Solana. Just a huge leading diagonal formation. Now you can subdivide these macro waves into ABCs depending on how you look at it, but it looks like it's just within reaccumulation mode. This was your creek over here. You had your jump across the creek for your sign of strength, for your SOS, and then this is your backup before we have continuation higher, likely to 411 to 661 with the possibility of hitting $910. Okay, Solana is looking good. I don't have any concerns for Solana. And we'll take a look at XRP really quickly, just see how it's holding up. Okay, XRP is holding up well still. We'll continue to monitor this and alter the waves as the price develops in the Discord. And we'll take a quick look at Cake because I know it's ripping to the upside. Okay, yeah, Cake is still on its way. And then we'll take a look at Bitcoin dominance here. So Bitcoin dominance, it did have a break of structure on February 13th. We pointed that out. I would be expecting chop around this region over the weekend, leading into early next week before we see a continued move down. When we take a look at the 3-day time frame on Bitcoin dominance, we see a macro ABC correction with the C wave terminating at the 78.6% fib at 64.22%. We also have an ending diagonal within that C wave. Right? Notice how we have a 3-wave move within each of the waves here. And we had our blow off top here on Bitcoin dominance. So now I would be expecting, you see this green zone right here? This is our alt season. This is our altcoin bull run. And it's just commencing. Hence why most coins are still at their lows. Okay, we would come down to fill this weekly inversion fair value gap right over here, sitting at 46.43 to 44.28%. And let's take a look at XRP here. We'll take a look at the market cap chart. And something I noticed on XRP on the market cap chart, when we take a fib from the highest recorded price within this 889-day long accumulation range down to your last point of support, we perfectly topped out at the 2.618 at 195.96 billion. We saw an ABC correction in the form of a flat pattern or a WXY, depending on how you want to look at it. And the 3.618 is at 456.89 billion, which would be sitting at around $7.40 to $8. And then the 4.236, guess where that is? That's 770.93 billion, which would be the famous $13 target that everyone has been talking about for years. XRP. if we take a fib from the all-time high down to the low, 4.236 is at $13. So we have a lot of confluence at that $13 region. I'm thinking that $13 will be the peak, but we're going to have to alter the waves as the price develops. Now, if you want to stay updated with all of your favorite coins and assets, and you want to have the ability to talk to me personally, then click the link in the description below to join the Discord so you guys can get access to that. We have over 300 charts, a very nice community full of intelligent people. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream today on Sunday. We will be having another stream next week. I'll keep you guys updated. And yeah, no need to worry, guys. We'll take a look at all of these coins in the next stream. But if you want quicker updates, then join the Discord. I hope you guys enjoyed. Yes, PIP community is strong. I love that. Yeah, Takala is in the Discord. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. It was a pleasure to have you guys here. I hope to see you all in the next stream. And peace out and take it easy. I'll see you in the next one. Okay, guys.